Hello everyone and welcome to this video going over the newest chapter in Dead by Daylight, A Binding of Kin, as well as some of the changes that are coming on the public test build. Now everything I'm going to go over here is what we know so far. All of this is on the public test build, so it is all subject to change. However, don't expect this to change too much when it all goes live. I expect some minor changes here and there, but not anything big. And guys, remember to like the video if you enjoy it and subscribe for more Dead by Daylight content, because I do make a lot of exciting guides, gameplay, and news videos for Dead by Daylight. Now let's get into what you guys want to know the most. Who are the twins? Because we all know the new killer is the most exciting part of any chapter. At first glance at the twins, you are probably thinking, how the heck are these people twins? Like, they're clearly different ages, right? Well, they were conjoined twins, with Victor being the smaller twin that was attached to Charlotte. And reading the lore, you find out that Victor died when they were still growing up as kids. And then somehow Charlotte, who is the main body here, I guess, for the killer, survived having this dead twin connected to her throughout time. So when the entity ended up finding Charlotte and wanting to take her into its realm, it brought Victor back to life and actually separated Victor from Charlotte. Charlotte then, of course, chased Victor into the entity's realm. So there you go. That is why Victor looks so weird and so small and not at all like the same age as Charlotte, who is his sister. But they were conjoined twins at one point, and the entity did them a solid and helped them separate from each other. Of course, the entity only did this so they could go on a rampaging murder spree. But hey, at least they actually have their own bodies now, right? Anyways, let's get into the power. But first, you should know that the twins have a 32-meter terror radius and move at the normal killer speed of 4.6 meters per second. The twins' power is called a blood bond. Pressing the power button will throw Victor forwards, and the player is put in control of Victor. Victor will have no terror radius while being controlled, but he does make a lot of noise to let survivors know he is there. Charlotte will have no red stain or terror radius while the player is controlling Victor. Her body also stays where it is, and it does have collision, allowing her to body block survivors, so if you are a survivor and see the dormant Charlotte, be aware that you cannot just walk through her. Now, through my gameplay of this killer, I have also noticed that Victor does not get loud noise notifications, and he cannot be seen by survivor perks that reveal the killer's aura, such as Object of Obsession. Now, you can hold down the ability button again to switch control back to Charlotte. And if you are Charlotte and ever want to go back to Victor, just hold down that ability button again to transfer back. Now, if you transfer back to Charlotte and leave Victor on his own, he will stand still as well, and any survivors that get too close to him will have this killer instinct effect on them, revealing where they are to Charlotte. There is a trick survivors can do to get past this vision, though, that Victor provides, and that is you can crouch walk around Victor, and the killer instinct will not be shown to Charlotte. Additionally, the killer instinct effect will not appear on survivors that are standing completely still. However, to get into Victor's radius for the killer instinct, you would have to walk into it. So the killer will still know you're there, but if you stand still, then the killer instinct effect will disappear, so if you want to try and mind game the killer to make them think you have left, keep that in mind. Now, while Victor is just standing still and inactive, he will still make noise to let survivors know he is around. When Victor is standing around, sometimes, not all the time, he will have a red glow about him, and this kind of indicates that he can be crushed by survivors. This was very inconsistent on the public test build, where sometimes he glowed when left alone, and sometimes he didn't when left alone. So I'm not sure if this is intended or if it was a bug. Now, if you're wondering what I mean by crush him, well, yes. If survivors walk up to Victor and he is not getting controlled by the killer player, you can crush Victor, which forces Victor to despawn, and then after a short period of time, Victor will respawn on Charlotte. Victor can also be crushed when he is stunned by a pallet or by perks such as head-on. So just walking up to him and crushing him is not the only way you can do it. Be aware that Victor only lasts a limited amount of time in the world, which is represented by this red progress bar around the killer's power. It is about 1 minute and 30 seconds long, give or take, and this timer only applies while not controlling Victor. Now onto Victor's unique power, which is Pounce. You hold the ability button to charge his Pounce. You can hold this at 100% progress indefinitely, so that way you can position yourself to get ready for a proper Pounce. And when you are ready to activate the Pounce, you press the attack button. This will cause Victor to pounce forward at a great distance, which is pretty impressive for a small little twin, and it is even possible for Victor to pounce over pallets and windows if you aim it correctly. So you can expect this little guy to pull off some crazy stunts in games, that's for sure, because he can just come flying through any opening. Now, if you have Victor in your sights as a survivor, you can tell he's about to pounce because he'll spread his arms out, and his eyes will slowly start glowing this bright red color. When his pounce is fully charged, his eyes will be a very bright red. And then when he actually pounces, he does have this kind of red effect trail following him as he flies through the air. If Victor lands on a survivor with his pounce, it will damage that survivor by 1 health state. And if that survivor happens to be healthy, then Victor will latch onto them like some kind of jockey in Left 4 Dead, and then the killer will be forced back into Charlotte's body. But Victor will still be on that survivor that he latched onto. While Victor is latched onto a survivor, they will be inflicted by the broken, oblivious, and incapacitated status effects, which, yes guys, we do have a new status effect in this chapter, which is the incapacitated status effect. Anyways, getting back to Victor here, the survivor that has Victor on them will be unable to leave through the exit gate, they cannot enter lockers, and any nearby survivors will have a killer instinct effect on them. However, the survivor that actually has Victor on them will have no effects indicating where they are to Charlotte. Survivors that have Victor on them basically can't do anything that requires an interaction, such as generators, healing, opening chests, or using some items such as medkits, to name a few examples. However, the survivor can still vault windows, vault pallets, and throw pallets with Victor on them. So you will be able to run from the killer. It's just you have to be careful about that oblivious status effect because you won't hear the heartbeat. And something you killer mains and even survivors have to know is that survivors can still jump through the hatch if Victor is on them. So just because Victor is on a survivor doesn't mean they can't escape. Keep that in mind because it will be important during the games. Now, as a killer, like I said before, you have no indicator showing you where the survivor with Victor is, so you just have to go to the last place you remember seeing when you were controlling Victor. Now, while Victor is on the survivor, they can crush him while he is latched onto that survivor by performing the remove action. This will force Victor to despawn and remove all the effects that were on that survivor from Victor being on them. However, they will still be injured. If the survivor does not perform the remove action, then Victor remains on that survivor indefinitely. Now, what happens if you miss your pounce as a Victor? Well, he will be vulnerable for a short amount of time, and during this time, survivors can crush him. He will have this red aura on him, when he misses a pounce to show that he can be crushed as well. And it only takes like a second for survivors to crush Victor. They can literally run up to Victor, kick him in the face, and he's out of the game for a short amount of time. He does respawn, so don't worry about that. Something else to know about Victor's pounce is that if he lands on an obstacle that is taller than himself, he will be destroyed. But you can't avoid having Victor die by moving off the obstacle fast enough. So keep this in mind when you're playing Victor. While controlling Victor, you can also see blood easier as it is brighter for him. One last thing I need to say about this power is that if Charlotte is standing near a pallet while the player is controlling Victor, a survivor can stun her, which will automatically pull control back to Charlotte, and then Victor will remain stationary where he is. So if you're ever playing Charlotte, never deploy Victor near a pallet and then just keep Charlotte at the pallet, because you know survivors are gonna freaking throw that one on you. Now, some more information about Charlotte when she's kind of in this inactive state is that she cannot be blinded while controlling Victor, and Victor himself cannot be blinded either. So that is the Blood Bond Killer power for you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave it in the comments below. And also let me know what you think about this power. Is it strong, is it weak, or is it mediocre? And do you like it better than the Blight? Now let's take a look at how they can alter their power with add-ons. Alright, so let's take a look at all of the Twins add-ons. I'm gonna ignore the Blight Serum, since that's event only. First we have the Iridescent Pendant, which says if a survivor crushes Victor while he's idle, they suffer from the Exposed status effect for 12 seconds. Silencing Cloth says Charlotte is granted the Undetectable status effect for 12 seconds after waking from her idle state. Drop of Perfume says survivors within the radius of Victor's shrieking suffer from the Oblivious status effect. Forced Stew says moderately increases Victor's speed. Spinning Top says moderately increases the time it takes for a survivor to remove Victor. Victor's Soldier. If a survivor crushes Victor while he's idle, their aura is revealed for 6 seconds. Madeline's Scarf slightly increases Victor's speed. Rusted Needle. Survivors who remove Victor suffer from the hemorrhage status effect until healed. Sewer Sludge slightly increases the time it takes for a survivor to remove Victor. Stale Biscuit slightly decreases the cooldown of Pounce. Weighty Rattle. Survivors who remove Victor suffer from the broken status effect for 20 seconds. Baby Teeth. Survivors who remove Victor suffer from the blindness status effect for 15 seconds. Bloody Black Hood slightly decreases the time it takes for Charlotte to be awoken from her dormant state. Cat's Eye. Victor's shrieks stop when Pounce is fully charged. Ceremonial Candelabrum slightly increases the time needed for a survivor to crush Victor. Madeline's Glove moderately increases the radius of Victor's shrieks. Cat Figurine displays the target location of a Pounce. Soured Milk slightly increases the radius of Victor's shrieks. Tiny Fingernail moderately decreases the time for Victor to separate from Charlotte. And Toy Sword slightly decreases the time to charge a Pounce. And those are all of the Twins add-ons. Let me know what you think of them in the comments below. And now let's take a look at their unique perks. So, the Twins' unique perks are Hoarder, Oppression, and Coup de Grace. What a Hoarder says is receive a loud noise indicator when a survivor interacts with a chest or when they pick up an item within 24, 32, or 48 meters of your location. The trial begins with up to 2 additional chests in the environment, and the rarity of items found in all chests is decreased. Next we have Oppression, which says when you damage a generator, up to 3 other random generators also begin regressing. If the affected generators are being repaired at the time that you kick that one generator, any survivors repairing them receive a difficult skill check. Oppression has a cooldown of 120, 100, or 80 seconds. Now, if you're wondering about the difficult skill check, this is basically the same as overcharge, except I don't think you have a increased penalty to the missed skill check. It's just to let the killer know which generators survivors are on. And finally, we have Coup de Grace, which says each time a generator is completed, Coup de Grace grows in power, gain a token, consume 1 token to increase the distance of your next lunge attack by 60, 80, or 100%. And this is pretty crazy when you see it in game. The killer can lunge from super far away. However, I don't know how strong this perk will be in game for real, because right now it's looking kind of weak. Now let's move on to the survivor stuff in this new chapter. So the new survivor is Claudette 2.0. No, I'm just kidding. It's just a joke, guys. Don't take it too seriously. Okay, anyways. The new survivor is Elodie Rakoto. Sorry if I pronounced her name completely wrong. I promise you I will get it right in the future when I hear someone pronounce it correctly. Now, what are her 3 unique perks? That's all we want to know about here. Alright. Well, her 3 unique perks are Appraisal, Deception, and Power Struggle. Starting off with Appraisal, it says start the trial with 3 tokens. When a chest has already been opened, consume a token to search for an item. You unlock chests 40, 60, or 80% faster. Next we have Deception. Interacting with a locker while sprinting will trigger a loud noise notification at your location and cause you to leave no scratch marks for 3 seconds. You no longer enter lockers while sprinting and while this perk is active. Deception can only be triggered once every 60, 50, or 40 seconds. The way Deception works is kinda wonky in game, it just looks weird. Basically, you run past a locker, if you hold down shift you will see this feint option, and if you then press spacebar with shift held down, or whatever your running button is on your platform, you will open the locker, but you won't go in it, and then the locker door closes, and you just stand in front of the locker, and you can walk away or run away if you choose to. Now for our last new perk of the chapter, Power Struggle. It says, while being carried by the killer, reaching 35, 30, or 25% wiggle progress activates Power Struggle. While Power Struggle is active, you can drop a nearby standing pallet to stun the killer. Power Struggle is deactivated when it triggers successfully. What Power Struggle means by triggering successfully is that the pallet you threw hits the killer, stuns them, and then the killer drops you and you can run away. That is what a successful Power Struggle is. So let me tell you something interesting I found with this perk when messing with it in the public test build. When using Power Struggle, you have to react quickly because it is possible to drop the pallet too late, so then it doesn't even hit the killer, and then you're just kind of like, the killer just saw me do that, so now they're not going to walk next to another pallet. Like, that can happen with Power Struggle. So you have to have fast reaction, slam that freaking button as soon as you see it pop up so you can get the stun on the killer. Now, Power Struggle does have multiple uses if you did fail that first pallet stun. So if the killer happens to walk next to another pallet, which they most likely won't, but if they do, then you could hit them that second time and maybe get the successful stun there and get away. And that's all I have to say about Power Trip. If you enjoyed the video and maybe learned something or just had a fun time talking in the comment section here, remember to leave a like and subscribe for more Dead by Daylight content. You know, I do news, guides, and gameplay videos, so I got everything for you, and I have a bunch of exciting videos planned over the next few weeks. I'm going to have some killer gameplay of the Twins out soon, so you do not want to miss that. So make sure you subscribe, man. Come on. And I do have a Discord server as well if you want to jump in and talk about Dead by Daylight or find some survivors to play with anytime. Everyone in here is fun and friendly. I have a link in the description below. Remember to let me know what you think of the new chapter and all of the changes in this public test build. And thank you very much for watching. I want to give a quick shout out to Coley219 for supporting my channel. Thank you very much. And if you want to be featured at the ends of my videos, then consider supporting my channel by clicking that join button below. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, good luck out there in the fog, and see ya next time.
Ah!